This is the Troll Patrol. Live. With Justin. Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol. Live. Now, some of you may be wondering, Justin, last time we saw you, you said you were going to be getting the vaccine, and then we didn't see you for days after. It had nothing to do with the vaccine. I was having technical issues. If you saw the show last Tuesday, the last show that I did from my setup here, I was having major issues with my microphone, but my mic works now. It sounds amazing. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot to talk about tonight. A jam-packed show. Now, yesterday I put up the video of me watching the Trump speech from Saturday. That is a Patreon exclusive for just $1. You can get access to that and so much more, including my notes that I use every night on the Troll Patrol. I post those to Patreon. I realize it's kind of a valuable resource. I compile a hell of a rundown of the day's news, like what we've got to talk about tonight, such as the Texas Attorney General, who has been indicted for fucking years awaiting trial. I don't know how he is the Attorney General still of Texas. He was on with Steve Bannon in the pandemic war room, and he admitted that Democrats would have won Texas had it not been for the GOP efforts to restrict voting. My Representative Mo Brooks, made a complete ass out of himself. What else is new? This time he was trying to run from Representative Eric Swalwell, serving him a subpoena for the civil matter he needs to answer to regarding the insurrection at the Capitol almost 6 months to the day ago. We have that wild video of the kids in the shootout with police. We're going to talk about the police shooting in Minneapolis that has sparked protests that we know for a fact that the cops lied about. Plus, we're going to talk about Fauci's emails, Grimes' crazy political beliefs, and I'm going to show you video of a drone inside a volcano. Welcome, Warlord. Content warning, fuckers. It's good to be back. We're going to start off tonight, though, with a little dose of Biden. Biden is warning about the dangers still posed by COVID.
Progress we're making as a country. If you are unvaccinated, you are still at risk of getting seriously ill or dying.
Hey. Give me one more week and I'm considered fully vaccinated.
Or spreading disease to others. Especially when Americans spend more time indoors again, closely gathered in the fall. As we face the potential,
that's the worry,
more dangerous variants. Even now.
Oh, apparently one of the Indian variants is something like 50% more transmittable, 3 times more viral, and not as susceptible to the vaccine. So, hey, that's something to look forward to coming to your town this fall.
You look at the areas of the country where vaccination rates are the highest, the death rates are dramatically falling. The vaccines are effective. They're effective against the variants currently circulating in the United States. On the other hand, COVID deaths are unchanged in many parts of our country that are lagging behind in vaccinations. And for young people who may think this doesn't affect you, listen up, please. This virus, even a mild case, can be with you for months.
If not years, we don't know.
It could have long-term implications for your health that we don't even know about yet or fully understand yet.
Thank you.
It's true.
I just said that, Joe.
It's less likely to die from COVID. But if you do not get vaccinated, you could get COVID sooner or later. but you could get COVID still. A substantial percentage of people with COVID, even young people, will suffer illnesses, and some will have long-term health impacts as a consequence. If you're thinking that the side effects from the shot are worse than the COVID, or that you can't just take...
Now, I will say I did suffer a couple of side effects from the vaccine. They were not bad. Some flu-like symptoms for about a day. As I said on an earlier broadcast, I woke up, I think, Thursday evening around 9 or 10 o'clock, and I felt like $1 million. Cleaned my entire apartment.
Take a chance, you're just dead wrong. Do it for yourself.
Quite literally.
Protect those more vulnerable than you. Your friends, your family, your community. You know, some people have questions about how quickly the vaccines were developed. They say they've been developed so quickly they can't be that good. Well, here's what you need to know. Vaccines are developed over a decade of research in similar viruses, and they've gone through strict FDA clinical trials. The bottom line is this, I promise you, they are safe. They are safe. And even more importantly, they're extremely effective. And if you're vaccinated... And
like specifically, I wanted the mRNA vaccine because I'm excited about that breakthrough in scientific research and the possibilities for the future. They're talking about fucking cancer vaccines. That's awesome.
Are protected. If you are not vaccinated, you are not protected. Places with high vaccination rates will also see fewer cases of COVID moving forward. Places with lower vaccination rates are going to see more. You know, we were elected...
It's just the facts, Jack.
...Vice President for all Americans. And I don't want to see the country that is already too divided become divided in a new way. Between places where people live free from fear of COVID and places where, when the fall arrives, death and severe illnesses return. The vaccine is free, it's safe, and it's effective.
I heard that one of the biggest factors contributing to people not getting the vaccine is that they think that they are going to be charged at the point of service. That will not happen. It is free to everyone. They will ask you for your insurance. If you do not have insurance, it is no big deal. They will still give you your jab.
Getting the vaccine is not a partisan act. The science was done under Democratic and Republican administrations. Matter of fact, the first vaccines were authorized under a Republican president and widely developed by a Democratic president, deployed by a Democratic president. All over the world, people are desperate to get a shot that every American can get at their neighborhood drugstore at no cost with no wait. Every American...
I waited a few minutes. I would probably block out about an hour of your afternoon.
Has the right to get...
And also, they're going to make you wait 15 minutes afterwards to make sure that you have no adverse reactions to the vaccine. So I was probably in and out in 30, 40 minutes. I went at a specifically, a time in the afternoon that tends to be less crowded. So I would say at least allow for an hour to go get your vaccine.
It's your choice. So please, exercise your freedom. Live without fear. We need to be one America, united, free from fear this fall.
I don't think that's going to happen. And I've already been like, I have tickets to concerts this fall. I don't know that I should actually go to them. I'm going to.
God bless.
I'm vaccinated. I'm going to go to the concert just because, I'm dying to go to a concert. So I told Sparkles everything I have tickets for is September, October. I'm like, oh, I really need to see something before then. Those could very well get canceled. I do not want to think about what it is going to look like in this country in the fall. So now we're going to get a little, this is a fun clip. I watched this just to make sure that we actually got some information from it. It's kind of funny. So check it out. Biden asked about Fauci's emails.
President, give a headline on the infrastructure talks.
I'm going to be having a talk this afternoon, and I'll be able to report to you after that.
Are you expecting a counteroffer, Mr. President?
Tell you
We're going to hear from Senator Marsha Blackburn about the Democrats' proposal for infrastructure.
this afternoon.
Mr. President, you saw Copsis and Dr. Fauci?
He was just asked, does he still have confidence in Dr. Fauci?
Yes, I'm very confident, Dr. Fauci. God bless.
And they say he's not sharp. Look, he heard that all the way down the hallway. Shit. But of course you have Republicans like Rand Paul all over the place spreading misinformation, the exact thing that they accuse Dr. Fauci of. Here is Paul on a Fox News program.
It's the very definition of theater. If you ask him about immunity, if you ask him privately, if I've had the disease, do I in all likelihood have immunity? He'll say yes, but then he'll say, oh, we're going to completely discount it. And this is a very important...
Whoa. You have immunity for a few months. Rand Paul, is he trying to imply that he still has immunity at this point in time? Who thinks Rand Paul hasn't been vaccinated yet? Because if this motherfucker hasn't been vaccinated yet, and he thinks he's got immunity, he is going to get COVID before the end of this year. Hands down. Again.
Policy decision. In India, there's 1 billion people. 400,000 people a day are getting this. They have 4,000 people a day dying at least. And so there's a real question. Should you give the vaccine to people who've already had the disease, or should you save the vaccine for people who haven't been infected? There's not enough vaccine to go around in India. This is probably the most important...
Whoa. That's a problem with the U.S. and our intellectual property laws and shit. There's plenty of vaccine to go around. We're preventing it from being able to get to India, which has plenty of capacity to produce vaccine, might I add.
Policy or public health decision in the world right now. But because Dr. Fauci isn't being honest about immunity, they may well be giving the vaccine to people who are already infected, which is not allowing enough people to get vaccinated for them to get to herd immunity.
And Dr. Rand Paul...
And I mean, we're talking, and look at him call him Dr. Rand Paul, the fucking optometrist. But when we're talking about immunity, like, they believe we're going to have booster shots, people that are vaccinated. Clearly, immunity, the antibodies, do not last.
People should keep in mind, if he has the checkbook and he's funding these labs, and these are research that the researchers want funded, why would they ever come out against him? They would be against their own interests. So this formula doesn't work for America.
Well, he has yet to apologize or even admit that they were doing gain-of-function research, even though his private emails admit immediately to his underling, oh my goodness, we have to do something immediately about this gain-of-function research. So he admits in private what he won't say in public. And this is a big deal, because if he would at least say...
I don't believe that's true. Now, we're getting ready to actually look at the emails. I have not seen anything thus far of the cursory glances I've given to the emails that have been put forward as smoking guns. Fauci said anything of the sort. I've seen a lot of claims from a lot of blowhards like Rand fucking Paul.
Some consideration, but he's still denying that we funded the Wuhan lab, gain-of-function research, or that they were doing it, or that it was an unwise decision.
I don't think he's denying any of that.
Peter, if you ask...
I can't find my... Alright, so here we go. The BuzzFeed article that broke the Fauci emails. Now, Republicans have referred to this as a leak. These came from a Freedom of Information Act request. Thousands of pages of communications obtained by BuzzFeed News show how Fauci tried to keep Americans calm and develop an effective strategy despite conflicts with the Trump administration. So even their headline doesn't paint it as like, ooh, we have this smoking gun. The actual journalist who broke this fucking story. The woman's email arrived in Anthony Fauci's inbox on February 28th, 2020, with a one-word subject line, urgent. The coronavirus crisis was still in its early stages, and Fauci, the U.S. government's top infectious disease scientist, was already under tremendous pressure, both because of the health threat facing the country and the political climate fostered by the Trump administration. I understand Vice President Pence has ordered you to not inform the public about coronavirus without approval. This is quite terrifying, especially since Trump has already shown his desire to spread false or incomplete information about this public health crisis. That's what the woman wrote. She had tracked down Fauci's email, which is not easily accessible on government websites, because she had a pressing question. I'm planning to fly domestically tomorrow. Is it safe? Of course, Fauci had urgent matters of his own to attend to, but he replied to the stranger anyway, the next day. There is much misinformation, he wrote back. I actually have not been muzzled at all by the vice president, and by the way, it is safe to fly domestically. More than 3,200 pages of emails obtained through a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit filed by BuzzFeed News covering the period from January to June 2020 provide a rare glimpse into how Fauci approached his job during the biggest health crisis of the last century, showing him dealing directly with the public, health officials, reporters, and celebrities. Now please, if any of you know of any emails that you consider smoking guns, let me know. Point me to the exact email with this information. Otherwise, we're just going to scroll through here, we're going to look at some of these emails, and we're going to see if we can find anything incriminating, anything that backs up what Senator Rand Paul was saying about Dr. Fauci. Tony, I wanted to send a note of thanks for your leadership and everything you're doing to make our country's response to this outbreak as effective as possible. This is from Mark Zuckerberg, by the way. Also wanted to share a few ideas. I find it odd that he calls him Tony. Smoking guns are mandatory. I'm assuming you're meaning in the letterhead from Red, White, and Blueprint. Now, I want to know where this incriminating evidence is that Republicans are so fucking sure